Okay, here we go. So for the first trade, I have Corbin Burns going to the Rangers, and going back to the Brewers, I have Jack Leiter, Justin Foscue, and Dustin Harris. So the Rangers, coming off a World Series championship, they could use some help in their rotation, and who better than Corbin Burns, one of the top starting pitchers in the game. Sure, he is going to be a rental, probably going to go to free agency. Doesn't seem like he wants to do an extension at this point, but I think for the Rangers, why not just go for a guy like Corbin Burns? They're having issues with, TV money at the moment. So I think, go use the assets that you have. You have a pretty strong farm, so go use them and go get one of the top pitchers in the game. And that rotation really could use it. If we go take a look here at the Rangers rotation, right now you got Eovaldi, Gray, Heaney, Dunning, and Bradford. Scherzer is going to be on the IL to start the year, but there are injury concerns with these guys. Eovaldi, Gray, they had health problems in the last couple of years. So I think someone like Burns, who's shown to be very durable, would be a very strong pickup for the Rangers and would definitely help them trying to go back-to-back and trying to win a World Series. Look at the numbers last year with Burns: 32 starts, a 3.39 ERA, a 3.81 FIP, right under 10 strikeouts per nine, 3 walks per nine, a home run per nine. Corbin Burns, still one of the better pitchers in Major League Baseball. And going back to the Brewers, we have a pretty decent group of prospects here. The big name is Jack Leiter. He hasn't really been able to get it going in the minor leagues as of yet. This is a big name coming out of the draft a couple of years ago, but ERA in the 5s the last couple of years. So maybe a change of scenery could be good for Jack Leiter. I think there's definitely some potential there. The Brewers, they've had some success getting more out of pitchers there, but they're also getting a solid infielder in Justin Foscue, who's pretty much blocked at this point with Corey Seager and Marcus Semien up the middle. I do like Justin Foscue. Had a pretty solid year last year in the minors with an 862 OPS at AAA, and they'd also be getting Dustin Harris, who's more of a first baseman at this point, but had an 800 or an 809 OPS in the minor leagues last year. For me, I think this gives the Brewers a solid group of players that definitely could contribute this coming year, still help them compete. And for the Rangers, they get a top of the rotation guy that's durable and going to give them innings. Up next, I have Randy Arozarena going to the Mariners, and going back to the Rays, I have Brian Wu, Cade Marlowe, and Alberto Rodriguez. I feel like the Mariners need another bat in that lineup, and who better than Randy Arozarena? Could you imagine how entertaining that would be? You got someone like J-Rod already with the Mariners, and then you get an entertaining player like Randy Arozarena as well. And I think his bat would give the Mariners a bit of a lift, and for the Rays here, they're getting a decent package. But let's talk about Arozarena first. Now, with the Mariners, they did add Mitch Garver. I like that signing. Gives them a little bit of pop from the right side. Gives them a DH. He is going to be more of a DH at this point in his career. But I feel like they need another bat here. Now, I'm looking at the corner outfield spots. I see two younger players in Cade Marlowe and Canzone. Now, I just feel like you need a bit more of a boost here. When I'm thinking of corner outfield spots, I want a guy that's going to give me a bit more pop, and I feel like Randy Arozarena is just that guy. Now, he did teeter off a little bit in the second half last year, but Arozarena, still only 28 years old. This guy is a solid bat overall. Taking a look at the numbers, he had 254 last year, still a very strong on-base percentage of 364, the 425 slugging, the 126 WRC+, plus, the 23 homers. This would be a really nice bat for the Mariners lineup, in my opinion. And going back to the Rays, now they get another young pitcher just to add to their riches of young pitching. Remember, they got Ryan Pepio from the Dodgers, and now you go get Brian Wu, and now you just got a ton of electric young pitching in that rotation. And then you got McClanahan coming back next year. My goodness, that rotation could be absolutely filthy. I'm a big fan of Brian Wu. I would love my Red Sox to go get Brian Wu, but for this one, I got him going to the Rays, and I would hate that even more. Really good season for him last year in 18 starts, 87 2/3 innings, a 4.21 ERA, the 4.36 FIP. Only in his first year, had almost 10 strikeouts per nine, 3 walks per nine. Still needs to get the home runs down a little bit, but to me, Brian Wu has a really good fastball, some pretty good off-speed stuff I would love to see. And then there's been some reports of James Paxton possibly going back to Seattle. So if they were to bring him in, that would make someone like Brian Wu 2 a bit more expendable. And then also going back to the Rays would be Cade Marlowe. So you're essentially swapping outfielders here. Arozarena taking over his spot, and then Marlowe going back to the Mariners. And the Mariners, they've done well with these more platoonish kind of bats, and Cade Marlowe at this point is more of just a lefty bat there. You know, had a decent WRC plus last year of 112, had the 330 on base. There is some pop there with Cade Marlowe, so I feel like the Rays would really take advantage of what he can bring to the table. And then there's also someone like Alberto Rodriguez, bit of an unorthodox swing, but last year took a really good step forward, hit 300 to 380 on base, 884 OPS overall. So I feel like this would be a nice little pickup for the Rays, as well as the number 18 prospect on pipeline as of right now. So overall, I think for the Mariners, they're getting themselves, you know, a guy that's going to be a very good player for you in Arozarena, someone that's going to give your lineup a bit of a lift. And for the Rays, they're getting a solid package here, headlined by another young starting pitcher. Up next, I have Shane Bieber and Emmanuel Clase going to the Dodgers, and going back to the Guardians, I have Emmett Sheehan, Andy Pages, and River Ryan. Look, the Dodgers have had one of the most amazing off seasons of all time. Shohei Ohtani, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and Tyler Glasnow. So you might as well just finish the job and make the best possible super team that you can make. Shane Bieber going to the Dodgers, he would practically be the 5th starter in this rotation, maybe the 4, but that is just ridiculous. But you're also getting Emmanuel Clase in this deal, who you can put into the back end of that bullpen. What a nasty back end of the bullpen that would be. And then for the Guardians, they're getting a really solid package here, a young starter in Emmett Sheehan. You get a power-hitting outfielder in Andy Pages, who is close to Major League ready, along with another pitching prospect in River Ryan, who is getting close to Major League ready as well. Now, like I said, Shane Bieber, at this point, you know, his velocity and numbers have been going down in the last couple of years, but Shane Bieber, if he's healthy, I know we use that phrase a lot, if he's healthy, I mean, that would be just amazing if he's the 5 in your rotation. You know, Yamamoto, Glasnow, Buehler coming back, Miller going into year 2. So Shane Bieber at this point would basically be your 4 or 5. That's just insane. And then you would have Clase and then Phillips at the back end of the bullpen. Are you kidding me? I mean, Evan Phillips was really good in the closer role last year, one of the best relievers in baseball. Having him as your setup guy with Gratterall, I mean, come on. I mean, that's just ridiculous if you ask me. This, to me, I know we would all hate it because the Dodgers have just been doing everything, but it's like, come on, you might as well just go add a couple more pieces and just finish the job at this point. Why not? But I do like this for the Cleveland Guardians as well. They're getting some solid prospects here. Andy Pages is the number 6. River Ryan is the number 8. And then you're getting a young starter in Emmett Sheehan. Yeah, he did have his, you know, down moments last year, but this is a guy overall, you know, while the numbers weren't great, he really did show some promise last year, but there's a lot of good stuff with Emmett Sheehan. Good fastball. The changeup is really good. Put it together with the Guardians, and look what they've been doing with their young pitching. I mean, that rotation could be amazing in the future. I do hate this if the Dodgers were to, you know, get something like this done. That would be crazy. But I do like it for both sides overall because, in my opinion, it helps out both sides. Up next, I have Jesus Luzardo going to the Red Sox, and going back to the Marlins, I have Jarren Duran, Nick York, and Miguel Bleis. Now, there's a few different ways to do this, but I like this package overall. I think it helps out both sides, but let's talk about the Red Sox first. They desperately need a top-of-the-rotation guy, and I think Jesus Luzardo would be a perfect fit. If you take a look at this rotation as of right now, you just traded away Chris Sale to the Braves, where I do think it's going to be better for him. He's going to be more in the middle of that rotation instead of leading this rotation. You weren't really sure what you were going to get out of Chris Sale this year. I think it was best for both sides to just move forward, especially after all the injuries he's been having. So I'm glad he gets a fresh start in Atlanta. But for the Red Sox, they need a top-of-the-rotation guy. Sure, you got a young guy in Brian Bayo. You just brought in Giolito, but who knows how that's going to work out. He had a really bad second half last year. You got guys like Nick Pivetta, Tanner Houck, Cutter Crawford, but they need someone at the top of this rotation. And I think someone like Jesus Luzardo would be absolutely perfect. Only 26 years old, 3 years of control until he hits free agency. 32 starts last year, a 3.58 ERA, a 3.55 FIP, over 10 strikeouts per 9, under 3 walks per 9. Really got himself together with Miami after coming off the rails with the Oakland A's a couple of years ago. He's been great, and I think he would be perfect for the top of this rotation with the Red Sox. Just a younger, cost-controlled guy is exactly what they need. But for the Marlins here, I have them getting some pieces that they need as well. They need to do something with this offense. It was a bit better last year, with Luis Ariz there, but I think they could use a bit more, and they could use some more speed. They were 29th in base running last year, and Jarren Duran was one of the best base runners in the game last year. So to me, in this package, I think it would be perfect to lead this package going back to the Marlins, and then going back as well would be Nick York and Miguel Bleis. Now, Nick York, as of right now, is the number 6 prospect. He's basically blocked with the Red Sox now that you have Vaughn Grissom starting at second base. And then Miguel Bleis, this is a kid, 19 years old. He has a lot of upside. He could be a 5-tool superstar down the road, but you never know with these players that are so far away. So to me, I feel like the Marlins would be really intrigued with having a piece like this in their system and see if maybe down the road he could be something for you. But there's also other ways to do this. If we take a look at a couple other packages I put together, maybe you could center it around someone like Miguel Bleis. He would be the big piece in terms of value, but maybe you could also get someone like Ceddanne Rafaela, who is right now on MLB Pipeline the number 3 prospect. He could go play for you right now, and he still has work to do. He's a bit aggressive at the plate, not very patient at the plate, so that definitely needs some fine-tuning, but he's amazing defensively, has great speed. That would be a really nice pickup for the Marlins, and they've been connected with Ceddanne Rafaela going back to last offseason when the Red Sox and Marlins were connected in trade talks, so that would be a pretty nice piece for them to get. And then also have Nick York in this, and then a young shortstop like Mikey Romero that could be good for their system. Or maybe you could do something with Jarren Duran and Ceddanne Rafaela. I know the Red Sox are giving up basically 2 center fielders there, but if you want to try and get it done, maybe this is what the Marlins would want. And then I also put in Nick York here, along with Chase Mageroff. This is a kid who really reminds me of Dustin Pedroia, a good hitter in the minor leagues. His position is a little unknown at this point. Second base, third base, could he move to left? Who knows? But you're definitely getting a good hitter there in him. Or maybe the Marlins, maybe they just really want some beef and they go ask for someone like a Marcelo Meyer or a Roman Anthony, work a package around those guys. I would hate this. But to me, I feel like a package like this where they get a center fielder in Jarren Duran, or you could put him in left, right? Jazz Chisholm you could keep in center, or maybe you could move Jazz Chisholm back to second base. Duran could be in center. Maybe you could work out something like that, and then Ariz can go to first. Bell can be your DH. So Duran, I think either way, he would be helpful for the Marlins now, especially the base running. And that would be a good top of the order there with Duran and Ariz. And then Nick York, a good bat for their system. Haven't talked about York all that much, but this is a kid who had a good bounce back season in the minor leagues last year, has a good bat. I think that'd be a nice bat to add. And then Bleis, again, has so much upside. But overall, the Red Sox really need someone like Jesus Luzardo. And last but not least, I have Dylan Cease going to the Orioles. And going back to the White Sox, I have DL Hall, Heston Kjerstad, Connor Norby, and Justin Armbruster. Now, I talked about how the Red Sox needed a top-of-the-rotation guy, and I think the Orioles could use a little bit of a boost there as well, especially a team coming off 100 wins last year, getting knocked out by the Rangers in the division round, but nonetheless, a team that won 100 games and is trying to take that next step in the playoffs. I think Dylan Cease would be a great addition for the rotation. Don't get me wrong, I like Kyle Bradish, I like Grayson Rodriguez, but I feel like you need someone else there, especially for the playoffs. I think that would be huge for the Orioles moving forward. Dylan Cease, now if you look at the ERA, not great looking, a 4.58, but the FIP was a 3.72. Still made 33 starts last year, 177 innings pitched, still a workhorse. That's going to be good innings for this rotation. And then if you take a look at the strikeout numbers, right around 11 strikeouts per 9, just under it, 4 walks per 9, under a home run per 9. And another big thing for the Orioles is that they would have him under control for 2 seasons. He's not a free agent until after the 2025 season. So I could see the Orioles being more inclined to go after a guy like this. Dylan Cease would be amazing for the Baltimore Orioles. Now, for the White Sox, they're simply just trying to bring in as many players, good quality players, as they can. So their best goal, in my opinion, would be to trade Dylan Cease and maximize his value while you still can. So for here, I got DL Hall, who is a major league ready pitcher. Who knows? Could he be in the rotation at some point? Maybe stay in the bullpen. I think you would like for DL Hall to be in the starting rotation down the road. He still has pretty good stuff, so let's see if he can figure it out. Heston Kjerstad, he was drafted very high not too long ago. That's a good bat for them, where he's been hitting really well in the minor leagues over the last couple of years. He actually played 13 games with the Orioles last year, but overall, over 2 seasons in the minor leagues, he's hitting .305 with a .382 on base and a .504 slugging. This would be a really good outfield bat for the White Sox to add. And then they're also adding a pretty good bat in Connor Norby. Middle infielder, can go play some outfield as well. Had an .842 OPS last year. That would be a really solid player to add to your system. And then, a lower level prospect like Justin Armbruster, who's a big guy, 6'4", 235, has a pretty good fastball, but he has a lot of deception and along with a good slider and a pretty decent cutter as well. This would be a nice addition, and he is someone that is close to major league ready to go picture you possibly even this coming year. So overall, I think for both the White Sox and the Orioles here, I think they're both accomplishing a lot. The Orioles get a playoff-ready guy, and the White Sox, they get some quality talent to put back in their system. So those are the trades that I've come up with. Let me know down below in the comments. Tell me what you think of them, and give me your own blockbuster trades that you want to see before spring training and the regular season rolls around. But that's all I have for right now, everyone. If you can, hit the like on the way out, subscribe if you're new, and I'll talk to you next time.